Bootstrap styles and apply chesara? Applied not applied? Working? Applied and separate example, applied and project? Use today topic is like, let me write one small example on useMemo guys. The concept here, useMemo. useMemo. See guys, useMemo, you try to understand. Surya is requesting a record their computer. Decline. Yeah. Topic is what? Use memo hook. What are the hooks we done up to now? Use state to maintain the value and to update the value multiple times. Use useSelector. Use dispatch. Okay, use dispatch. Okay, today topic is useMemo. Yes, useMemo hook. I'll tell you one small point here. If you take the function name is what? App. That is a functional component I'm going to create for that. The component name, functional component. Function, the component name is what? App is the component name. Fine. See, for example, I take some useState hook and useState hook. I use some hooks like that. I written some logics here. I written what? Logics. I written the logic. And we have the return statement. In the return statement, I'm going to write some the data which is displayed and where? Browser, right? But you're trying to understand the problem now. The problem is here I'm going to have some logic. For example, assume that double number. You can increase the number, guys. Double the number. Double the number means what? N star n, something like logic written the double the number logic. Double the number. See, double the number logic we written like this. What the number here? Double the number. If you write the double the number logic, generally, I'm going to print the double number logic. React fragments, we know that React fragments / like this, 5. That's React fragment. Here I'm going to print the number, just you can take the paragraph. My number, now my number what? My number result. My number result, I am calling the logic. What the logic tell me guys here? Double number logic I'm calling. That is the logic I'm going to call. And that is the logic I'm going to call. Calling a call. useState, you take one count variable. You know that first example counter increment, right? Write the same example counter increment number. Counter, next one is what? Set counter equal to useState. Tell me guys, useState what? Something like initial value, you can make it as 0, like that. And you take the button here, just you can take the button opening and what? Button closing. And the button, just you can write the, I hope you know everything line of code, right? Increment number. If you go for the on click directly, I'm going to write the, just take an arrow function, write the set count. Set count is what? Count plus 1. Like that I gave the data. Right? Yeah. That case, what happened? Tell me first time. First time component is loaded. First time component is loaded, then what happened? First time component is what? Loaded, then what happened? First time component is loaded, then what happened? Go for the return statement. My number result, we are calling the function like, what the function name tell me here? Double number is the logic function. Okay, this is what a function, right? This is a function, double number is a function. When you write this one, like, first time when the component is loaded, component is what? Loaded. Then it is printing the my number result. It is calling this function, right? Right. The function is called or not called out. This is what? Calling the function or printing the variable. Calling the function. This is a logic written the logic like arrow function. Arrow function name is what? Double number. Let me write the clear the data also. So just you can take the let double number. Tell me guys, arrow. Tell me arrow. Just you can take the input is what number. Input is what number. That input I will take later. Fine. N star what n. That is a logic. Then my number result is what number is called. The corresponding number printed here. Then we are incrementing the counter. Incrementing what count. See when you click on the first time increment. Otherwise, this number is there now. This we are expecting what input number, right? That number you please hold. Just you can take one more value here. See guys, this use state variable for what purpose? Counter purpose. What purpose? Counter purpose. And this use state variable what purpose? For this double number logic input required, right? That input purpose. How many variables you take in total here? 2 variables. One is this number for what purpose? Tell me, this number for what purpose? This is for what? Counter purpose. This is the counter purpose, and this is for what purpose? This is like double number purpose. What purpose, guys? Double number purpose. See, guys, to get that double number value, I took the input type equal to what? Type equal to number, and you can take the on change equal to e dot something like e arrow e dot. Tell me, guys, target dot. Value like that we took the data like this. Okay, good. How many use state variables here total? How many use state variables? 2 use state variables. One use state for what purpose? Increment purpose. One use state for what purpose? Double number purpose. You take that number. For that number, you are making what? Double the number, right? Double the number. See, input type you given the 100. Assume. Given what? 100. Then what happened? You given what 100. Then what happened? You given the 10. 10 into what? 10. 100 you got the output. What output now? 100 you got the output, right? Very nice. Very nice. Then this is these 2 lines for what purpose? Target double number purpose. This line is what purpose? Increment purpose. I given the input value is how much here? 10. 10 means what happened here? 10 becomes what? 100. 10 becomes what? 100. That is not a problem. There is any problem is there? If you give the 20 means 100 becomes how much here? 400. If you give the 10 means 100 to 20 means what? 400. Something like you got the output. 100 you got the output. Observe carefully. These all example. These all examples you should analyze for the rendering and re-renderings. That's what we should know the previous knowledge clearly. Then only you can understand these kind of points. Use memos, use callbacks. These are like bit experience, like when you write the completely big projects, we're going for that. But these days, what? Even fresher entries also they ask this kind of questions. First time component is rendered, you given the values how much? Tell me 10. 10 means what happened here? 10 becomes the 100. And it is coming very good. And it is what? Coming very good. That is like value I changed. Second time observe the first rendering completed. Second rendering, I didn't change the value. I didn't change what? Value. If I didn't change the value, then I click on the increment. Click on what? Increment. The state variable is changed, right? Count is changed, right? When the count is changed, the component, the entire component reloaded. Better the component is what? Re-rendered. Reloading is re-rendering. The component is what? Re-rendering. When the component is re-rendering, then what happened, in the return statement, again, these lines of code executed. Again, lines of what? Code executed. Again, lines of code execute means what? Again, my number result is what? Double number, right? That function is again called. That function is what? Again. First time, I change the number, the value is coming very good, nice. Second time, I didn't change the number. It means my logic for the double number is not going to be happen. But just like done what? Increment option. When I click on the increment, then what happened? Tell me. When I click on the increment, tell me, when we click on what? Increment, then what happened? Count increased. Count increasing means state changing. State changing means component is re-rendering. Component is what? Re-rendering. When the component is re-rendering, return statement execute automatically one more time. That's what this line paragraph, my number result, this code is there now. That code automatically executed. That code executing means what? This function is again called. But you call that change the value or you click on the incrementer. You click on what? You clicked on incrementer. When the component is reloading, re-rendering, then what happened? Only increment got updated, even double number again calling. Double number? Double number? Exactly. But again calling the double number is required or not required? You don't call the double number again multiple times. When the double number should be called, when you change this number. The double number should be called when you change what? Only input number. But when the component is incremented, component is what? Increment means component is reloading, right? While it is reloading, then what happened? Return statement one more time executing. One more time return statement executing means here what happened here? Double number again called. Then calculations done again. But that number calculations already complete, right? Here my intention is what? Double number logic calling, increment logic calling. Then what happened here? The main point is inside the, what you can say, component. If you write the logic, if you write what? Logic, that logic is executed when the component is what? Reloading. Every time when the component is reloading, other logics also executed. But this logic should execute when the component reloading, when the number changing. When the number changing on this component should execute. What component? Double number logic. What logic execute here? Double. See guys, if you write the logics directly, sometimes with the component reloading, every reloading the calculations happen. But that calculation should be done every reloading of only number changing up. Only for when the component reloading that calculations again you should call, you should not call. That kind of calculations you can write using like useMemo hook, guys. What hook, Amma? useMemo. useMemo hook. Then what happened? Tell me. That logics will execute only when the number is what? Changed. The number is what? Changed. And the number is? Changed. useMemo, you can write the logic. That useMemo logic is executed when the input value is what? Changed. But other components, when you click, other components, other buttons. Other buttons, when you click, component is what? Reloading. That time, that useMemo logic execute, not executed. But without useMemo, then what happened here? When the component is re-rendered, tell me guys, component is what? Re-render, then what happened? Every time logically executing or not? That's what is real time. What happened, in return statement, you will not write the paragraph calling the function like this directly. We never call. If you write the code like that, then what happened? Every time the component is reloading, every time that logic is executed. That's what always you remember, that you write the most of the code in the return statement using conditional rendering. If the first one is what items are there, then second one is what print the items. Print what? Items. If you didn't write the code like this, then what happened here? Every time when the component is reloading, component is what? The logics are executing automatically. Tell me guys, what the purpose of useMemo hook? useMemo. Generally, when you write the logic, when you write what? Logic. That logic got executed every time when the component is what? Re-render. Component is what? That component is re-rendering for that number value for other buttons purpose. That number changing the component re-rendering, okay, very nice. Number changed, value coming. Number changed, value coming, that is okay. But number didn't change, other buttons I clicked because the component contains one button or multiple buttons. Multiple buttons. You clicked on enter the number you valued, increment button you clicked on. When the increment button, what happened? Component is what happened? When the component is reloaded, again that logic is executed. You want to execute that logic when the component reloading, when the value changed up. Then you can go for what? useMemo. You please write the without useMemo hook first, guys. Tell me the code for the without what? useMemo hook. Tell me guys, code for the without useMemo hook. You taken how many variables? Tell me here. Just you can take one component, right click new file. This is something like test.jsx file. You go for the test.jsx file. Go for the settings. First, let me write the code with useMemo and without useMemo. Without useMemo. The shortcut is what? React functional component export. Then you got everything. Go for this one here. Go for this one. I told that inside the function, how many use state variables you have to take? Two use state variables you please take. How many use state variables? Two use state variables. One use state variable for what purpose? Count purpose. One use state variable for what purpose? Number purpose. One is for the count. Count is for what purpose? Button purpose. Here, how many logics are included total? Two. One is the number calculation, one is the button increment. How many logic you should write? Two. One is for this one is the use state counter. If for the increment button, this is for the number purpose. Very nice. And after that, you can write the double number. What number, guys? Double number. If you write the double number, if you write what? Increment the double, or you don't want increment the double, increment the number. Tell the code for that here. Let what the code here? Double number. Yeah, you can take the variable like double number. What the variable name? Double number. You take the double number. Tell me the arrow function logic here. Tell me what the arrow function logic. You write the arrow function logic, calculating what? Number. Calculating what? Number, and return what? That number. That's what, guys, I took like this, calculating the double value. Calculating what value? Double value. That is the code we written. I written the console.log to check the output clearly, calculating the double value. Number into how much? 2. Number into what? 2, right? Yeah, first you take that number from the form input box. Input box means just you can take the input type equal what? Text. Tell me, guys, input type equal what? Sorry, not text to number. Value equal to what? Number. I do not on change. On change is what? When the value changing, set that number. Value changing what? Set that number. Tell me on change, the set number. I think we converted parse into target dot what? Value. Initial value you can set it what? 0. Fine. That's the value what? Number you taken. This is a number variable. That is a value setting, right? We are calling the set number method. And you print that value. To print that value, tell me, guys, double number, you can call the double number. Call what number? Double number. Tell me, guys, this input button, this input, this is double number value. And this is all about what logic we written up to now? All is all about what logic? Increment logic, we written like input button. Input button. Now you write for the increment logic. Tell me, guys, for increment logic, you can take the what variable here? Button. Button and what? Close the button. Button opening and button closing. Just you can write what button here? Increment. When the value is incrementing, this is another functionality I'm writing. Same functionality, another functionality here. Another functionality. What button here? On click. Tell me, on click arrow. Just you can put the set count. Set what? Count. Then you can write the count plus 1. Count plus what? 1. That is the data we written. We got the point, right? That is the values, guys. This is with the useMemo, no? Without useMemo, no? Without useMemo. Without what? useMemo. Guys, go for the logic here. Just you can change the values. So bootstrap. Yeah, this is like bootstrap, guys. I think here we are going for the useState hook, right? useState hook is not imported. Click on the useState. By default, number is setting how much, guys, here? useState is how much number you are setting? 2. So initial number how much here? 2. 2 into 2 how much here? 4. 2 into 2 how much, ma? 4. The warning function not valid rejected. This may have happened instead of the component slash. Okay, so if that JSX is there, this is the test component. Fine. This is my component morning class. Fine. Guys, that is the data we are writing. Just you can refresh. You can remove the console. See, guys, initial value double number is okay. Fine. What number, guys, here? Initial value is how much? Tell me. Initial number how much? 2. And just you can change the values like 20. Unchanged, why it is not calling? There is a test data. Test data is there. Tell me, guys, this is what function here? Double number. Arrow function here writing. Consider the double number star 2. Unchanged. Set number parse into e dot what? Target dot value. What the function name? This one, right? I think that is not required. Yeah. Good. You are calling the braces, right? You are calling in the braces means I can put the what the concept here? Braces concept. because outside we are calling like this is what function guys here? Arrow function. So arrow function means what? You called that value. Yeah, just you can refresh. Now see the output here. See guys, initial value you are making, what's the initial value, tell me? Number how much here? 2. Number by default you are making the 2 means 2 plus 2 into 2 is how much here? 4. See guys, calculating logic execute how many times? One time. Calculate logic execute how many times? One time. You please change this value 20. Then what happened here? 40. Then the logic executed second time. Executed what? Second time. You change this value one more time. You on change. On change, the function is calling, right? Yes or no? On change, component is loading. Component is loading means what happened every time the double number is printing, right? Double number is what? Printing. This is okay, fine, very nice. But if you click on the increment button, then again what happened? Tell me. Component is what? Loaded. So useState value changing, fixed value. Value changing. UseState value changing, same value changing. Because when you click on what button? Increment button. When I click on the increment button, click on what button? Increment button. Now we can see the output once. If you click on what button, like increment button. What button here? Increment button. See, up to now you can see like 2 times here double, calculating double. When I click on what button here? Increment. When I click on the increment button, component again what? Wait, component again what? Reloaded. Then the component reloaded means return statement execute one more time. And again it is calling what number? Tell me. Double number. Again it is calling what? Hey, if you write the logic inside the component, when the component is reloaded, every time the logic is executed. That's what if you click on the increment button, if you check once, already how many times it is called? Tell me. 3 times. One is for the 2, one is for the 20, one is for the 200. How many times? 3 times. You click on what button? Increment button. I clicked on increment button. I clicked on what? Increment button. Now tell me the calculate double execute, not execute. It means component reloading means double value execute, not executed. Yes, sir, man. It means this line. What is the line? This line. This line inside the return statement. Double number value. This is double number function calling. This function is calling what? How many times? When the component is what? A component is what? Generally, when this value changed, component reloading, that is okay, fine. But if I click on the increment button, again calculating logic executing, again calculating logic executing, again calculating logic is what? Executing. Then what is the problem identified? Huh? What happened then? If you want, you can refresh again. This is with useMemo, without useMemo now. First time calculating for the how much value? 20, 2. Second time calculate for how much value? 20. Third time calculated for the 30. That value changed, that is reloading, executing, no problem. But this is a button related to the double number, other concept. If you click on this one also, again component is what? Reloaded. The function logic, the function calculations executed when the component is what? Reloading. But when I increment the button, I don't want to calculate double value, right? I don't want to calculate what? Double value. See, the value is not changing because that same value is coming, right? But the result executing, not executing. That function executing, right? Like that, guys. This is with useMemo, without useMemo. You please convert this without useMemo code into what code, guys? Here, useMemo. useMemo says that you write the logic inside what? useMemo. Previously, you are writing the logic directly. There is a logic here. This is a logic you are writing directly for the double number. Then what happened here? That logic executing even other component, other buttons are what? Other buttons what? Reloading. Other buttons are what? Increment button related to the this number related to other concept. When I click on the increment button, component is what? Reloading. Component reloading, again double number got executed. But the double number concept should execute only for what purpose? When the value changed, what value? Input value changed. What value changed there? Input number changed, right? Input what? Number change. That's what, guys. This input number change that should execute. That's what simply you can take this logic what use memo. Use memo. You please execute that logic using what? useMemo. When that number is changed. When that what? Number is changed. That's what, guys, you took the number here. This number is nothing but what? Here the value, input value number you taken, right? Input value is what? Number, this number. When this number is changed, then only what happened here? useMemo executed. If I click on the increment button, component reloading or not reloading? Component is what? Reloading. Component is what? Reloading. Component is reloaded definitely, but function is executed, not executed. When that function executed, then only the value, this number is what? Changing. That number is, this number is, when this number is changed, input value. This number is changed when? Input value. This number is changed when the input is changed, right? Input number. Yes, sir. That what number? Input number. That number is changed, then what happened here? That logic should execute. But button incrementing means that logic should execute or should not execute. That is that useMemo hook we're using, guys. Once if you done the useMemo hook, go to the useMemo hook. Just you can what? Control space enter, because import statement should be done, right? Good. You guys refresh. Guys click on what? That function name is wrong, it seems. This is what number? This is what number? Double number, right? Double number you can call call. This is a previously we are calling normal function, but this is what? useMemo variable, right? This is variable or function now? Variable. Variable you should call with parenthesis or without parenthesis. That's only the point here. So just you can refresh the console. Always you try to clear the console, guys. Maybe the previous errors we have. Now you can refresh once. Now see, calculating logic executing, right? Execute, not execute. How many times executed? One time. Change this number. Execute, not execute. Change that number. Execute, not execute. Execute, not execute. That's it. Execute, right? That is executing. When it is executing, what we are changing? When you change the number, it is executing. But when I click on the increment button, then what happened? Component is, when the component reloaded, that calculating double executor should not execute. Previously it is executing. But when you click on the increment, as of now, how many times is there? 3 times. You please increase the what? Count. Increase what? Count. If you click on this count, is that value calculating execute, not executing? Think you cannot, maybe you're thinking like Sari is not clicking. Sari is clicking or not clicking? Not clicking. అక్కడ కౌంట్ వేరియబుల్ ప్రింట్ చేసా, ప్రింట్ చేయండి. Print చేయండి. When you print the count variable, then you can refresh it once. Now first time number is how much? A button, increment button is there, right? I braces count variable I'm printing. Now first time is all 2. Calculate logic execute, not execute. 20 execute, not execute. 200 execute, not execute. Very nice. Now click on what? Increment. See guys, previously what happened? When I click on the increment, component is reloading, again double calculation is done. But now I use what? useMemo. useMemo is executed, only number is changed. But now number is changing, other functionality. Other functionality, see guys, count is what? 1. వచ్చింది ఏమొచ్చింది ఇప్పుడు నాకు అర్థం కాదు. Tell me what you got? Calculate function execute, not execute. Even the component is reloading, that is not executing. That is what? Click on the count 2, count 3, count 3, count 4, count 5. But if you change this number, calculating logic executed. The calculate useMemo code executed, only the value changed. But when we have other functionalities like increment buttons, decrement buttons, that time when a component is reloaded, the double executing, not executing. Because of which hook? Tell me, without useMemo, you please tell me one more time. Without useMemo, this is like useMemo, no? Remove the useMemo. Remove the useMemo. Remove this number value. And this is like double number. Just you can come down. The double number directly calling a function calling. Function calling, that is the data. That is with useMemo, no? Without useMemo. No? Without useMemo, you got this kind of errors. You clear the browser. You can refresh once. First time the count increasing, right? Second time see 20, calculating logic executing. 200, calculate logic executing. Now that is rated to the normal input value, number. But I am targeting number, I am targeting in the counter. Count means what happened? Component is reloaded. When the component is reloaded, again calculating logic executed. Count is one, calculating logic, calculating double, calculating double. Then what happened? Every time the component is what? Re-rendered. Component is what? Re-rendered. Component is re-rendered every time double executed. But you want to execute the double number component re-rendering time or only number changing time? Only number changing time. Then tell me what we have to do. Go to the, what's the hook name? This logic you write use memo, put the parenthesis, and here you can put the, what we can say, comma. This is what? Comma, square bracket. You can put what? Number, close it. Then here, while calling, this is the variable we are calling now. That's the variable you want to call. Just you can refresh now. Go to the browser. You can click on what? Clear the console. Go the initial refresh. Yeah, that is a refreshing. First time the value executing. Now you can change the values what? 20. Second time executing 200. Like that executing, right? Yes or no? But see, when you go for the increment, now becomes what? Now what happened? Count increased or not? Count increased, count increased, count increased. Component every time re-rendering, but the logic execute not executed. That logic is executed, only the value of input value will be changed. That is called what hook here? What the purpose of use memo hook? If you write the logics in the use memo, when the value is what? Changed, then only what? The logic will be what? When other components are reloading the what you can say, other functionality reloading the component, that logic execute not executed. It means how many times you re-enter, no problem. How many times you re-enter what? No problem. But use memo logic executed only when the, tell me guys, when the value is what? Value change, and only use memo hook got executed. That is called what hook, guys? Use memo. Wow. Good. These kind of concepts, like, we should put some brain. Should put some brain. Clear? You want me to run one more time? No, I will run one more time. First time is what? With use memo, without use memo. No? Without use memo means you take the double number logic and you take the input number, print the double number logic. When you print the double number logic, then what happened, guys? Here, when the value changed, double number got executed. If you refresh, the count logic executing, and see when the 20 is changing, 200 is calculating 5. But the problem is what? Other button also re-rendering, again double calculating. Again double is what? That's what we need to go for other component logic without. Go for what? Use what? Yeah, use memo. What would do? What would care? Use. Write one point out, use memo. Use memo hook. Without okay, this is with the use memo, no? Without use memo. Without use memo, fine. At the punch. Okay, above example, what I will tell you, when the number is changing in the input field, the double number function is calling, we will get the output. That is okay. But the problem is what? But when we click the increment button, what happened? The state value what? Changes. The component is re-rendered. This time also. This time also what? The double number function got executed, right? The double number function executed. A go example, when the number is what? Changing in input field, the double number function executed, you will get the output type. This is okay. This is okay or not okay? That is okay. But the problem is what? But when you click on what button? When we click on increment button, hmm, the state count value change. The state what? When we click on what button? Yeah, increment button. When I click on the increment button, count state value changes. Then the component is what? Re-render. This time also what happened here? Double function executed unnecessary. Solution is what guys here? Use mem.
booked job.
Is solution code right? Complete code right? Double number use memo. Use memo contains the logics. When that logic executed, only the dependent value is what? Changed. If other button re-render the component, the logic execute, not executed. Because input type equal number means when you write the code, you write like that only. Attributes, like how many lines are in attributes? 3 lines. One is a type equal to number. Second one is a value equal to number. On change equal to set the number e dot what? Target dot value. You don't write the code like this. This is not standard in application point of view. Some people are writing the code like, input type equal number, space, value, space, and they will write the code like this. But that is good or not good, guys? Not good. You please take the component first, then take what? Type equal to number, then type equal to what? Number, then values next line, then on change is what? Next line. That is the way of writing the code properly in real time. I think this button we written the increment. After the increment button, I given the count variable, right? So that the count variables are showing on the button itself. On the button itself. The use memo hook execute its logic. A use memo hook what? Execute its logics. When? When? When the value, dependent value is what? Dependent value is changes. It will skip the recomputation during other state changes. The logic execute only number changer, guys. Other state changes means what? It will skip the computation when other state what? Changes. Alaknama. Yeah. Only evening class coming. Use navigate, just give the URL, it is navigating other page. To learn that point again, we have to do hard work. Huh? సార్ నేను పొద్దున్నే రాలేదు సార్ యూజ్ నావిగేట్ కి రాలేదు సార్ యూజ్ ఎఫెక్ట్ కి రాలేదు సార్ నాకు రావు సార్ నేను చెప్పను సార్ అని ఆన్లైన్ పీపుల్ బై బై టుమారో విల్ మీట్ టుడే యూస్ వాట్ వుడ్ బి డన్ యూస్ మెమో first I'll give the problem statement. This is the problem statement. Use memo hook logics. This is solution statement.
Audio Jungle.